Hey, and welcome to another episode of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And we're rounding out the year. This is the last episode of 2015, and what a year it has been.
It was a year.
It was 365 calendar days.
There were numbers counted.
Next year will be 366. Leap year, biatch. But
Yay.
Which means Summer Olympics and a presidential election.
I like one of those things. It's the one that
It's the Olympics.
yeah, it's the Olympics. I was gonna come.
It's the one that the viewers actually have a damn it. Ah, God.
It's the one where I
had
don't.
it.
Yeah, it's the one where I don't care if I see stuff. People post stuff about it on Facebook.
I still care.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I don't care about the Olympics.
fair point. But the it's just election years bring out like social media as it is already like pretty like. There's pros and cons. There's definitely like the whiny folks on it.
Yep.
Election years bring out the worst.
It's the worst.
It is the absolute
Primaries
worst.
bring out pretty bad shit, too.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's such a long process. If it was like a week of dealing with social media being assholes, fine. We kind of do that all the time. But yeah, it's like months and months.
Yeah, but what would
and
you rather
months.
deal with it? Over social media or in person?
You kind of have to do both.
Yeah, but
Not
I mean,
if you're
you
a shut-in.
True. But if you had your pick, which would you take?
Well, social media because you don't have to be on it.
Because I can mute it.
Damn right.
Yeah.
And I'll do it again.
But all four of us are always on social media.
That's true.
And it's kind of
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
what the magic of block and mute buttons are for.
I've
will
never
say,
done that actually.
I will say, I
Look
usually
into
have
it.
pretty good...
Join the dark side, Jake.
I
It's
have
wonderful.
I have a pretty good track record with it. I think I do a good job of culling, and figuring out who I want to include on my social media that like I follow and stuff like that. That I don't like tend to have to like around election time or around like mass tragedies and stuff like that. I don't have to be like, oh, okay, well now I know who you are, and delete.
Yeah.
You're fortunate.
Yeah. For me, it's like I don't.
Because I don't include my family. No.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have. Like I don't live in an echo chamber. Like I don't have people that are always going to agree with me because I'm not. I certainly have my own opinions, and we won't get into those on this. But we're
gonna save that for election time, folks. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, the election episode that like will just kill our listenership.
It's
and,
true.
Like, just
We haven't yet had a major election.
We
on the show.
apologize for your future death, Zach.
Yeah, but
Zach.
Yeah, I certainly have my own opinions, and I like to think they're pretty well articulated. But there's certainly people that have different opinions that I can see the merits of, and just like people that I don't agree with at all. But I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
It's the unrelenting hounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
unnecessary.
that's what I don't run into. Like I have differing opinions. I have tons of different opinions, but like most of the time I think just I have a good group of like people on Facebook, people that I follow on Twitter that are just like calm about it.
Yeah.
They understand that it's just Facebook. It's not going to do anything huge.
Well, there's and there's always the people that are on like Twitter or Facebook that like will go out of their way to comment or something and be like, "Well, I think this, and this," and like, "Great, good for you." And it's like one of those things where, "Oh, if you don't agree with me, you must be an idiot." And it's like, "No, you're the idiot."
But
like,
thanks for playing.
yeah, there's no points for participation. But yeah,
This
Jesus.
isn't some liberal arts school.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oof. In the South. Oof. But that I went to for 5 years. But the
Where you got participation points?
probably.
Yeah.
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 Isn't that class participation?
Try talking about the Civil War at a school where you're in the South. Like not like you're taught the right way, but try like listening to other people who were raised when it's called the War of Northern Aggression.
Hey, assholes, you fired first.
Yeah, and they believe it's still going on. That's a very interesting classroom that you're in.
It is. Especially since the Civil War ended 150 years ago today. Get the fuck over it. But now we're getting too political.
We lost all of our listenership
Yeah.
in the South.
In the Bible Belt. Fuck
Yeah.
them. But I think the big thing is this year. I think this was actually quite a good year because this year started with me like literally ankle deep in my own sewage, and by the end of it,
I remember that.
Yeah.
everything wasn't.
It's not a metaphor, kids.
Yeah, no, I was good. Let's look back to those episodes from like January of last year.
A little bit of
Everything
Jake's-
finally came up Millhouse for you.
Yeah, I suppose. Are we talking like
Samhouse?
Richard Milhouse Nixon or
No,
like Milhouse from The Simpsons?
Yes.
Where the meme comes from.
Where he's like, yeah.
Where he's literally in a flood.
Yeah, he's ankle deep in water.
Yeah, his house is flooded, and he's wearing pants that are short enough that they're not getting soaked. So he's like, everything's coming up Millhouse.
Oh,
It was actually quite the perfect reference, Josh.
well, there you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Josh. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of, if you look back on some of those episodes, you can see some of the crazy stuff we went through, watching all these movies and TV, and we'll talk about that at length. I finally joined the current generation of video games. Josh, you've had an Xbox One since like the very beginning, haven't you?
Yes.
So you've been in it
Day
for like
Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've been like in it for like 2 years.
Yes.
Well done.
In it to win it.
No.
No, I guess not. Would you say you're what? Okay, while we're on this tangent, real quick, what would you say? Because you're, I think, the only one here that's actually like bought, much less played, video games that came out this year. What's your favorite? Like Halo 5?
No.
Fallout 4.
I haven't played enough to properly judge that one.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any that like leap out? You're like, this one.
Batman
is good?
something or other.
Yeah. Arkham
Oh
Knight?
God, no.
Would you put?
No, it's just a whole bunch of crap this year.
There was, yes, a whole lot of really, really shiny shit.
Yeah. So Battlefront then.
Again, going with the shiny shit still, Sam.
So what was a highlight of video gaming this year?
Yeah, what do you like?
Rise of the Tomb
what
Raider.
the fuck, Josh?
Yeah.
Rise of the
Oh,
Tomb Raider.
Okay. Sorry, I was yelling when you said it.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is it? I think we went over this before, but is it as gruesome as the first Tomb Raider game, which I found like almost like turn-offingly violent?
No, Square went out of their way to really emphasize your fuck-ups in the reboot, but in Rise, it's not as gruesome unless you're just really, really bad at the game, and they don't overplay the fatalities.
So it's not like in the original, like the reboot. It's not just like, oh, you turned your head to the left. Oh, look, you got decapitated.
Right.
It's more like, oh, look, you got stabbed 5 times. Now you've been decapitated.
Yeah, or, oh, look, you drowned, or look, you fell down an avalanche, or, oh, look, a bear's mauling you off-screen.
Off-screen's fine. Off-screen's fine. There was just like stuff in the reboot where like you would get like a tree branch through the head, and it's like, that's just not nice.
And this is
Square.
coming from one of the guys that enjoys watching the horror films we went through.
Yeah,
And me
because I
being
know
like,
what I'm going in for.
And me being like, I can't handle these.
Yeah.
Well, it's
They're
because
showing intestines.
it's a horror movie, not a survival game or a looting game or whatever the Tomb Raider is nowadays.
Well, I guess the first one was kind of a survival game. In Rise of the Tomb Raider, you're raiding tombs, I would presume.
Yeah, it's more adventure now.
Okay, so Indiana Jones. Yeah, I don't watch Indiana Jones to see. I guess case in point, I see a guy's heart get ripped out,
And faces melt and
explode and
A
shrivel.
man age in like
then
nanoseconds.
spears through the head because
Yeah.
you stepped in front of a light source that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man being eaten alive by ants.
sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that one.
That part's metal though.
Yeah, it is pretty much.
Metal
probably
parts
the
get
best
spoken of.
That one that scene with the ants is the only scene that I was the ants. I was
With
like,
the Z
"Good."
starring Woody Allen.
And Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Do you have that Stallone movie?
No.
Oh.
That's one that I have a softcore porno though. Thanks, Chris. I don't own ants.
Yeah. That was,
I don't own.
You
I
have
mean,
your priorities.
It's true. It's true. I own all the Rocky movies on like VHS, and, like all of them eventually somehow. But I don't own 3, 4, and 5 on DVD of Rocky, my favorite movie, which is the franchise that I love. But I own his softcore porno. I own Get Carter
Good movie. Good movie.
And Victory.
and Victory
And you also own
And
Rocky on Laserdisc.
Paradise Alley, and
Where he sings the theme.
yeah. I don't know how it go. I don't remember how it goes. I just think of it as Paradise Alley.
It's Too Close to Paradise.
Too close to paradise.
What about Rhinestone?
No.
One of these days, we're gonna watch Rhinestone.
Yeah. Although
I
I
don't-
Drinkenstein.
yeah.
I don't know why I want to watch Rhinestone with you so much. But
I'd rather get Stop or My Mom Will Shoot over Rhinestone.
Good
But,
one. Good one.
I own I think the most questionable Stallone I own is probably Over the Top.
And that's like as straight as an arrow compared to the softcore porno. Or
Have you watched
Victory?
it
No.
What's
or
the buddy cop one he did?
Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
I've bought that 3 times.
Can I have
And
one
I'm proud
copy?
as
Because
shit
I
about
need
it.
to
No,
see
I bought it 3 times because I've lost it or.
How dare you do that to a classic, Jake?
I don't mean to do it to
borrow
a
it?
classic. Yeah. But I'm trying to think.
That's probably my favorite.
Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger is one of those weird ones where like all it is the beginning of a movie.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Much like a cliffhanger.
Dude, I bought Judge Dredd back when it was like brand new DVD, like $25. Now it's $4.99 because of Dredd, and it's on.
I have 2 copies of it on Laserdisc.
Nice
Because that's the one.
the
that
one
came
that came broke.
Yeah.
Doing you a favor, buddy.
I love that movie.
No, it's fun, dude. It's actually a really fun movie.
I'll take Demolition Man over it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Well, it's basically Demolition. You know what I mean? Like when
Kind of. There's similarities.
It was almost. It wasn't as bad as like Black Sheep and
Tommy
Boy, but it was like along those same lines.
Yeah,
where
I
they
mean,
were
like,
like, we've got gold here with Stallone. Let's do it again, but with like a slightly different premise.
I mean,
we still got the sets. Yeah, cool.
the cadet outfits are like the same fucking thing. So
Yeah.
hey, there you go. Whatever that was all about.
And that's been Stallone.
Yeah.
What if? I mean, of course, we went to San Diego. We, Chris
That's right.
Chris and I went
San
to New
Diego,
York.
Met Todd McFarlane, man.
Yeah. Chris and I also went to Special Edition back in June. We also did AwesomeCon back in May.
April, May.
It was May this year, and it's June next year.
Yeah, it is. I actually was looking it up.
It's getting pushed back.
I was looking it up today because I really want to try to go this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Adam
David
West.
Prowse is going to be there.
David Prowse.
Adam West, Burt Ward.
Yeah.
I have Batman 66 on Laserdisc for them to sign.
Charles
And
Martinet.
the Penguin from Gotham's going to be it. Robin Lord Taylor.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up. My dad caught up and was like, "It's good. It's good."
No, really, I'm
Yeah.
still like 5 episodes behind.
I still haven't watched it at all.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, okay. While we're on the topic of television,
Yes.
what are some of your favorite TV shows?
I'll tell you a couple funny things. Because
Are any of them your favorite TV show?
well, Supergirl. Supergirl, I thought was a show that
I don't
like
think that's very funny.
it's well, no. The funny thing was that like my insanity that how quick I watched True Blood, and then last night we were watching the football game. Oh, the Redskins game last night, and my dad was like, "I don't give a shit about this." And the Sound of Music Live, the rebroadcast was on, and my dad fucking loves the Sound of Music, right? Like he loves that shit. And so he's like, "Put it on," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we put it on, and we started watching it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, Carrie Underwood." Stephen Moyer is in that movie. Is in
It's
the
Captain Von Trapp.
yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I was in it. I was in it to win it from then, because he does have a good singing voice. He sings on True Blood. Anyway, backtrack. Supergirl was a show that like I was really excited for. I was a little nervous when the trailer came out because it was kind of like this weird. I still enjoyed the trailer, but it was this kind of weird, like peppy. I don't know what the hell was going on with the trailer. And it's basically a synopsis of the pilot. Like every beat is there in the pilot or in that trailer. And I remember it leaked online. I didn't want to watch it. I was like, I'll wait till same with the Flash. Watch it when it comes out. And I thought the first episode was really solid. And then it had its stumbling growing pains as it went on, like most shows do. There's some weird stuff going on. But I think as we talked about, like Josh, especially and I, with the Martian Manhunter stuff, like that show has really found its. Would you agree, Josh? Like it really found its kind of like groove.
Yeah, I think they still seriously need to work on the flying.
Yeah, I mean, there's some scenes that are
Very
great.
clearly,
Oh yeah,
a stunt.
yeah. But there's some scenes that are really good. There's one scene in I think the mid-season finale that I swear to God is just them remasking the Man of Steel when he's punching Zod through the air, and there's that shot of her punching her on like through the air.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is that scene from Man of Steel.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, but I mean, there are effects that are really good, and they're pulling from some really interesting place. Like we talked about the Jeff Johns issue that he did, which is I guess that's my favorite comic issue I read this year. I would think I would know. But yeah, Supergirl is pretty solid, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of any other shows that I've kind of gone in and out of.
Any current running like old favorites, not necessarily new shows? Like this year we said goodbye to Jon Stewart in the Daily Show.
We did. I've really
Good ridden.
I really really love Stephen Colbert's Late Night.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I never really watched the Colbert Report a lot. I just never did. But just the guy, just getting to know just the guy, Stephen Colbert, doing his thing.
Yeah, he's not doing a persona this
Yeah,
time.
and the thing that really, really won me over was the Joe Biden interview he did.
Yeah.
That I thought was really fantastic because he can have both sides. Like, he's not just sitting there doing like, political talking serious where it's just basically the Daily or the Colbert Report.
Well, he would never be serious per se on the Colbert Report.
But I mean, like having like politics. The
Right.
opening is basically still the Colbert Report, but it's got the late night banner on it.
Yeah.
But he's also allowed to have fun with like the cats, that fucking cat thing that was going on.
Yeah.
Like that's just like
the Acrocats.
Yeah, like the way that he played that up, and that was the same episode they had a Medal of Honor recipient on.
Yeah.
They also had Bill Maher, but
Yeah.
but that was all over the place.
Yeah, thank God he didn't get along with Bill Maher.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite heroic moments of the year was watching him spar with
Yeah.
Bill Maher.
I'll admit I'm a little left to center, but fuck Bill Maher.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, like the way he played, like the cat's not doing anything, and he would like he had the ears on, and he was like dancing between the
Yeah. Like he would do like the cat paws in the background.
No, he's I in terms of late night, I still enjoy Fallon. I think he's fun. Like, that's his best quality of like I feel like the actors have or the celebrities have fun when they're on.
I think Fallon finally found his niche when he took over.
I think so, yeah.
Because I didn't really care for him on Saturday Night Live.
He'd always laugh at his own shit.
Yeah, it was annoying. Yeah. But like here, on his show, on his late night show, he's actually quite enjoyable.
He seems genuinely like happy to be there.
And without him, we would never have Celebrity Lip Sync or whatever. That
that's
show
true.
is.
I guess. Yeah.
And that's coming back soon.
And Kimmel is getting like every major trailer reveal. That's like his bread and butter now.
I mean, he's on ABC. He's got that Disney money.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's ever a Marvel thing, I mean, they fucking parent company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Same with Star Wars.
Yeah. And you got Batman v Superman.
Same with, not Marvel.
Yeah.
I think that was more like, he got
Strategic.
Just like earlier, he had just had the Civil War reveal, and they're like, put everybody like apparently
Yeah.
the
Have Ben Affleck in the audience look not excited to be there and just show a trailer.
And also, it's not like what the CW has a late night talk show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. What?
I mean, TBS has one. So why
they do.
not?
They do.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was Conan the first? No, George Lopez.
George Lopez,
That's
and
right.
then
George
shortly-
Lopez kind of got pushed out because of Conan.
very quickly. It was like I think they overlapped for like 3 months, and then just out of nowhere, George Lopez was gone.
The
and
new
they
boss,
haven't
same as the old boss.
Yeah, and they haven't
we've
been
never
able to.
seen him again.
Yeah, he imploded. I think it was on Fox News. I think I saw he actually imploded.
Mm.
They caught it on camera.
Wow, the
Just
only
boom.
fact-based thing they've ever done.
Yeah, the only fact they ever got right was
Stop me,
George.
guys, I'm getting too
The
political.
only fact they ever got right was George Lopez imploded.
So real quick. Speaking of Fox
It's on a
News,
ticker
so
on the bottom.
so I happened.
Sorry, famed comedian implodes. More at 9. Your weather.
Now it's Shepard Smith.
Speaking of Fox News, I happened to catch a little bit today. They were talking. I don't know what show it was, but they were talking to Huckabee and about primaries and stuff like that. And Huckabee, all he seemed to be doing was complaining about how Trump gets unfair airtime.
That's Huckabee.
Yeah. Well, I just found it incredibly silly and verging on ironic that he's. By doing that, he made his interview. It was supposed to be a solo interview about him. He's allowed to talk about all of his shit. He made it about Trump because then the anchor was like, "Well, what about Trump? Let's talk about Trump's policies."
Don't
Why
go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah.
I did one.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
Douche and a turd sandwich.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think everybody on both sides of the aisle will agree. You're not necessarily voting for who you agree with more, but these days you're voting with who you disagree with less.
Which I think is
And
disgusting.
whoever's going to bring back George Lopez from being imploded.
I don't. That's
Whoever's going to piece them together.
They're like we're
like
figuring
Humpty
it out.
Dumpty.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. They hear like little like a George Lopez joke in China. They're like, "What the?" Like whispering in the
Yeah.
winds. Like,
Why doesn't he run for office? He'd probably win.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hell, I'd probably vote for him more than like anybody else.
Yeah.
But actually, I haven't actually listened to his comedy. It could be like
His show was all right.
okay.
His
Was
show
it
was
better than
alright.
Carlos Mencia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Carlos Mencia is not even Hispanic.
I
Yeah.
know his
But-
real name's Ned, but no, seriously, look. It
I know,
up,
but
guys.
out of all the names that have that not be Mexican, it's Ned. But like, no, I mean George Lopez's show was fun. Like it was like big. It was a really big like stage. Like he always had interesting people.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also his like sitcom was pretty funny too.
Right.
I
His
never really
family,
watched that.
his family sitcom. It was funny. Like on TBS, it was like his family sitcom, his talk show, and then Conan.
You know who one of the producers of his sitcom was? Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just a little fun factoid there. But
interesting.
yeah, if we're going for, I think Fallon's got the best skits.
Yes.
Colbert's got the best interviews.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Kimmel's got the best guests,
Mhm.
like consistently.
And exclusive.
Yeah, when he had the Hateful Eight cast, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. He's had, J.J. Abrams and all that.
Yeah, the Star Wars
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Folks, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
this is a wild year if you think about it movie-wise, but it isn't as momentous as you think it would be. We got a new Star Wars, awesome. We
Yeah.
got a new James Bond. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Just
Overall, we're on the fence.
yeah. Not
it's doing fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It hasn't opened up in China yet. It'll probably cross $1 billion.
It still hasn't opened up in China.
Not yet.
I know. Are you saying Star Wars or
Neither.
James Bond? Oh, neither.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know. Yeah, I had just read that Star Wars hadn't yet. But yeah, for you to say James Bond hasn't yet either, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's only been out, if you think about it, for not even 2 months yet.
Sorry, I'm in the new digital age where everything's instantaneous,
Yeah,
so
just
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I understand, like, back when we were, like, little kids and, like, you had to actually, like, ship things on freighters. Like, I
Right.
get it. But I don't understand why Bond hasn't opened up in China yet.
Probably to make sure it gets through. There's a strict government review process.
Oh,
like, okay,
yeah.
are we good?
Okay.
And that's a long one to
Communists.
review.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we all agree on both sides of the aisle? Communists.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Man.
Come on.
Josh,
What are you doing, communist? Get your shit together,
I mean, to be
man.
fair, Josh is a dirty pinko. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look
come
at-
on,
Look at those.
man.
Look at those pinkies.
Yeah, look at him.
And your pinky toes.
But we
Let's
got
not
we,
say that too loud.
guys.
He might
We-
actually
yeah.
get arrested.
we got two fucking like Marvel movies this year.
Yeah.
One good, one okay.
One I even put on my top 10.
One was a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And the other was Ant-Man. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay, but we got new Mad Max.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got-
Everybody knows who Mad Max is now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, before this year,
Yeah, it's
most
Tom
people
Hardy.
had no idea what Mad Max was. And now when it came out, people were like,
right over.
yeah. People are like, fuck yeah. Mad Max.
That's what happens when you're the best movie of the year.
Yeah, the second highest
pretty damn
grossing
good.
movie of the year was fucking Jurassic World. We got a new Jurassic Park movie this year.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was all right.
It
was,
had Jimmy Buffett in
It
it.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had Chris Pratt channeling Indiana Jones.
Mhm.
Though apparently they've since said we're not recasting Indiana Jones. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I could go either way.
I'm fine with Old Man Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give
Fighting
it.
those commies.
Yeah. Who would he fight in the 60s?
Hippies.
Yeah.
Just fuck up some hippies.
just still Russia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right.
They'd be
Cold
like,
War is still-
hey, man, I got the cup of Christ
Charles
right
Manson.
here. And then he just fucking decks them in the face.
Indiana Jones goes up against Charles Manson.
And the
Come
Cult
on.
of Doom.
Yeah.
The Cult of Manson.
Yeah.
Cult of Personality.
Mm.
The
Living Color?
Yes.
In Living Color?
That's a great band. But
Good show.
it's what helped put Fox on the map. Anyway,
And Jennifer Lopez.
And Carrie.
Truth and Wayans.
And Jim Carrey. Yeah, I guess you just
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
Carrey. I think you're talking about some other chick.
I thought he was talking about the Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
And movie
Oh, yeah,
starring
yeah.
John
That's, yeah, yeah.
Travolta. And I was like, wait,
Sissy
what?
Spacek was in. Sissy Spacek was in
The
In
coal
Living
miner's
Color.
daughter was in.
The coal miner's daughter.
The Colorado kid got,
Yeah.
pushed because of In Living Color.
Yeah. But
They renamed Haven.
we had a fucking new Terminator movie.
I liked it better than
Solid.
Jurassic World.
Really?
Yeah. I'd watch that. Well, let me amend my shit. I'd watch that again before I'd watch Jurassic World.
I'm
I
still
would
waiting
watch
for
the
it to
first
come.
half before I'd watch Jurassic World.
Yes, there's a good chance I'd turn
I would
it off.
watch. I would watch until they time jumped. So I guess that's about the first half.
Yeah, I like Jurassic World. It was fine, but yeah, the beginning of Terminator Genesis was more interesting than anything that happened in Jurassic World for me.
I'm still waiting for it to come to Netflix.
Soon. What would you say is some of your guys' like favorite movies? Just like it doesn't have to be like Supreme, the biggest dick, but and then what is like some of your big disappointments? Tiniest penis.
I'm gonna say my
I'm deep in thought.
my favorite movie of the
having a
year
thought.
still goes to Mad Max.
Yeah.
and like because I'm still floored by just how good that movie was, how it was able to stay like with the foot on the pedal, you know, jamming it down to the metal.
Pedal to the metal, yeah.
An apt analogy since it was Mad Max movie.
Going Mach 5.
Yeah. But yeah, like that. It's to this day, like I'm still like, man, wasn't that movie just great?
Yes.
Yes. To answer your rhetorical question.
Yeah. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just even actually thinking about it just now, like, you know, when you paused it, like I was like, what else came out that rivals it? And like,
would you put Ex Machina in the same class?
It was definitely up there as a damn fine movie. And I think this year was the year that I saw Frank. I can't remember if Frank came out this year.
I watched that again recently.
That is up there with some of my favorite movies of this year. And that's a good one to have on this little list because that's more of a sleeper one. You know, it didn't get as much publicity. Even Ex Machina got a good push.
Yeah.
But Frank, check out Frank,
It's on
especially if you
Netflix.
like masked play. Like,
This is my most likable song ever, and then he just goes in that fucking just dance all night, dance all night.
I actually just recently was listening to "I Love You All." Like that's
that's a good song.
why I messaged it to
Yeah.
you. Yeah, but I was like,
Digits.
I was just sifting through my phone and I saw "I Love You All" and I was like, that's a good song.
I bought that and Frank's most likable song ever off like iTunes.
Yeah.
Frank's most likable song ever is like 30 seconds, but you
Right.
just listen to it over and over again. You know,
Yeah, I bought it off.
is
of,
that it? Yeah.
I bought it off of Amazon Music.
Oh yeah, the way that Michael Fassbender is Frank in that,
Mhm.
and he's really just there's a bit of tragedy and a bit of some seriousness to it, but it's just a charming movie and charming performance. Yeah,
Yeah, much like Kylo Ren, I think he takes his mask off too early in the movie.
Frank.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like third act.
still like. You see Fassbender's face too early. Like I think I would have loved to either one never see his face, even like we all know what Fassbender looks like,
Cryo, son.
or wait until the bar scene at the end to see his
okay.
face.
I
you know?
thought his reveal was interesting, and the way he looked was interesting too.
It was
They don't
cool.
go just
Yeah.
like pretty boy Fassbender.
Yeah. No, I love his shitty hair and yeah, it looks like he's been wearing a mask for 20 years.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Any disappointments?
The good
Ultron.
dinosaur, the good dinosaur. Although I wasn't like super disappointed. I mean, I wanted to see it, but that movie still sucks.
I thought it was super cute. I liked it.
Vacation was terrible. Vacation is seriously one of the worst movies. Oh, you know what? Sorry, Denise, but I bought her Magic Mike XXL for Christmas, and I was like, I promise I'll watch it with you as part of the gift. I watched it. The movie is just garbage. Like you. I know everyone right now is going, oh, I know, Jake, it's garbage. No, it's fucking garbage. Like it's terrible. Although
like there's the good dinosaur and then there's Magic Mike.
I'd watch Magic Mike again over Good Dinosaur because
Ouch.
Magic Mike's got my boy Joe Manganiello. We're Twitter buddies, best friends,
Oh.
because he favored one of my tweets a long time ago. We're fucking best friends.
Right, yeah.
I didn't get invited to the wedding, but I think it's because the invitations have already been out.
Right.
That's why I didn't get mine.
Mm-hmm.
Fine though. I'm fine. I'm fine about it. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
Sorry, Denise.
Did you at least get a notice?
No, he's just busy. He was busy. I mean, you know, he still hasn't said anything since it. He's busy. Stop yelling at me.
He doesn't want to make the other fans jealous.
Yes. Yeah.
knowing how
I mean,
close the two of you are.
You could have DM'd me, dude, but it's cool. It's cool. Anyway, there's a moment in the trailer because he's Big Dick Richie, and he's actually pretty fucking funny in the movie.
He's actually got a pretty big dick.
There's some. I mean, I will say there's some dance moves that are fucking crazy that Channing Tatum does. I was like, holy shit. But
well, I mean, if you saw Step Up, you'd know.
I have seen Step Up.
Yeah.
But
When are we getting another Step Up?
His wife's on Supergirl. She's Lucy Lane.
Oh.
That's an attractive couple right there. But
she doesn't love him as much as you do.
my sister loves Channing Tatum. I mean, he's a funny guy. Anyway, there's a scene where they talk about he's the firefighter that does the movie, and he's like, and Channing Tatum's talking to Joe Manganiello. Like, do you even like doing that thing? He's like, that's my thing, though. That's my thing. But are you even a firefighter? He's like, no, I'm afraid of fire. Then why are you doing the firefighter thing? He's like, I don't know. He's like, what song do you dance to? Hotter Than Hell by Kiss. And in my head, I was like, And he was like, do you even like Hotter Than Hell by Kiss? And he was like, it's my song, though. He's like, do you like it? And he's like, no. And I almost tweeted him, and I would be like, I fucking know in real life you love Hotter Than Hell, Joe Manganiello. Because he's like a huge metal rock guy. We're bros. Again, we're bros. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. We're good.
So I was disappointed by Age of Ultron.
Would you?
That would be my biggest upset of the year.
Josh. Do you have any movies you like this year?
Yeah.
No, I hated them all.
What's a movie you like?
Spotlight.
Yes. That's a fucking really. That's a. I'm trying to think for people who haven't seen it, like a movie that I'd say, like last year or the past couple of years, that it's very much like in terms of like serious subject matter, near perfect just performances and script and direction. Like it's a movie that I think some people might have been like, oh, it might be boring because it's just sitting around investigating, but it's very much like All the President's Men. Like it is enthralling and engaging, and it's like I've never heard more gasps in a movie because it's all these reveals. Boom, boom. When, you know, the reveals that of like, no, it's not 3 priests, it's 90 priests. And at the end of the movie, they show every city, country, blah, 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 that they have unveiled since. And people are desperately reading to see if they, you know, oh my God, it's Savannah, Georgia, you know. And it's just this astounding thing. And the crazy thing that I didn't realize was when they were getting ready to drop the story, September 11th happened. And they had to wait and wait and wait to put it out because they wanted this to be a thing, you know, but they didn't, you know, it was a very tender kind of like you know. And so the head of the operation, I think it was called Snap, Josh, the head of like the Survivor thing. I think it was called Snap.
Yes.
Thank you. The head of it, who had already been brushed over once, thinks he's getting brushed over again, and it's just like really kind of like sad thing where it's like you're just going to forget about us again. Like you said, you're going to do everything and you're not going to post this and blah, blah, blah. But like really how big of a deal this is and the fallout still to this day that is affecting it. I'm a little bummed Keaton didn't get like a nomination because I thought he was like, he's kind of the heartbeat rock of the movie. Well, he's more of the, I'd say the rock of the movie. Mark Ruffalo is very much kind of the heartbeat. He's got a lot
Yeah,
more
he's
flashy
definitely the
stuff.
heartbeat.
He's a lot more quirky, flashy stuff to deal with. He's got, and like even my mom turned to me at one point and she was like, this is his Oscar moment or like, you know, nomination moment where he's like losing his shit. But Michael Keaton's very reserved, you know, and I'm glad that he's getting these performances since Birdman. You know, last year we were all about Birdman. And yeah, Spotlight was fantastic. Would you say that's your favorite of the year, Josh?
That Ex Machina, or I'm looking over all the ones that did come out this year that I've already would have seen.
Ant-Man.
No, I mean,
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was enjoyable, but you know, it's a standard affair.
Yeah.
Martian.
Surprisingly,
Yeah,
Ooh,
probably.
The Martian's on my list.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
yeah, Spotlight, Ex Machina, The Martian, and last but not least, probably Sicario.
Yeah.
Sicario, yeah.
And
my,
on DVD next week.
my dad got that digitally, and we watched it, and he didn't fall asleep once. And I was like,
Ooh.
"That's how you know." At one point, he turned to my mom, and dad, or my mom and sister. It was like Christmas Day, and he was like, "Shh, we're watching a movie." And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" But
Marjorie.
yeah. But no, here, wait, hang on a second. I'll just rattle off real quick because I put a little list together because I was like, I was interested. Pawn Sacrifice. This is not no order, by the way, except Creed is number 1. So I'll just say Creed first.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Pawn Sacrifice, I really enjoyed. That movie kind of got like forgotten about, but the you know, the Bobby Fischer kind of fantastic thing. Star Wars Episode 7, I think I enjoyed it. Felt like a kid again. Kingsman, that's a fucking almost a year old, but Kingsman.
That's my favorite espionage
Oh,
film.
My
of the year.
my mom was actually just flipping through the cable
Yep.
guide and she was like, "What's Kingsman?" And I was like, "It's like the greatest movie."
Yeah.
And so like I talked to her a little bit about it, and like she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go record it.
And
This sounds good."
Tagan, whatever the main actor's name is, I can't remember how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought
Taron
Egerton.
Taron
Joel Edgerton. He's playing Eddie the Eagle, the famous British ski jumper. And they showed a trailer before Sisters, which I enjoyed and I saw, and I cried. So anyway, Steve Jobs is on the list. That's a movie that has gone down a bit for me. I still loved it, but it's a performance piece more than it was than an actual movie for me. It's a very interesting way that they did the movie in the 3-act structure. You know, we talked about it a little bit, but the performances are just unbelievable. Of course, Mad Max. Ant-Man is surprisingly on the list. I think the second viewing really helped me out on that one because it's just perfect little exactly what we needed from Marvel after the bloated Age of Ultron. Spotlight, Sicario, and The Martian. Sicario, though, I think outside of Mad Max, that I've seen so far is the best like shot and directed movie I've seen all year. Like the images in Sicario are astounding. I still love the shot of those guys disappearing into the horizon, getting ready to go on the mission. Fucking cool, man. Fucking loved it.
I think cinematography wise, it's not. Honestly, it isn't in my top 10, but I thought the cinematography in Spectre was really good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's fucking cool. No, I think for me, it's a toss up between Steve Jobs and Creed.
Yeah.
So far, keep in mind, we haven't seen The Hateful Eight or The Revenant yet.
That's very true.
Those movies could be fucking awesome.
Because Straight Outta Compton was on my list, and then I saw Spotlight, and unfortunately that knocked it off.
It was knocked off by Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Typical.
I mean, it's Michael. Keaton.
Batman does do that.
Did you know the original line instead of "I am the Knight" was "I'm Batman, motherfucker"? That was supposed to be the line in Batman '89.
Okay, Frank Miller.
Yeah. Well, no,
I
that.
would've taken that.
Yeah, right. John Peters or whatever was like the kids would have identified with that. Like,
Yeah.
oh sure.
I
John
would have.
Peters is a crazy person.
He is. I saw the Death and Superman.
So
Lives,
am I.
And it was
Sam.
fantastic. That's where he talks about it on that.
Yeah. Kids would have identified with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
an '89 film.
hey,
Of course they would.
I love Batman '89, but if he would have said "I'm Batman, motherfucker," it would have destroyed the idea of Batman films going on further.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very smart move on almost never listening to John Peters.
Horrible decision.
Yeah.
I've seen the future and it hurts.
I got to give props real quick while we're still talking about
Do
movies. Trainwreck and Sisters.
Trainwreck and Sisters.
I saw Trainwreck and that was awesome.
Trainwreck was fantastic.
Two like female-led comedies that
was Trainwreck this year?
Mhm.
yeah, it was
Wow.
like the summer ish.
Speaking of female led, you also saw Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah, which was a Pitch Perfect movie. It was a fun movie.
Did it answer all
It's
the
not
questions?
on the same level.
Yeah, it was great because like it was Anna Kendrick being Anna Kendrick, and all the other actresses like being on point, and like if I feel like if you enjoyed Pitch Perfect, you'll enjoy Pitch Perfect too.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of just a series of songs than it was like actual like a solid story. Like I feel like the first Pitch Perfect was a little bit more fleshed out with like an actual like story going on.
Yeah. I owned it. I like that movie.
Yeah.
And the second film was like the Thriller music video.
Don't ever compare it to Thriller. No, but yeah, it was like, oh, let's just sing more songs, and like kind of just like it was more like the Spice Girls movie.
Oh.
Where they were like, let's just throw these
Staring
girls
at Spice
Were
World
they
right
being-
now, all the time. It's there. That VHS.
Yeah, one side
got-
of you, one
yeah.
side of you is Superman, the other side of you is Spice World.
Was
My life's
Anna
complete.
Kendrick being chased down by Richard O'Brien?
Yes,
Okay.
I think Meatloaf's in Spice World.
he is.
That's awesome.
He's their bus driver.
Fantastic for him.
Mhm.
No, I want to say
He would do anything for those girls,
That's right.
but he won't do that.
But he won't do a sequel.
Cool.
Because you were talking about Sisters a bit last time.
Yes.
And I've seen it since.
Yeah,
That's it's actually a really, really fucking funny movie.
yeah. Common thread: John Cena.
John Cena. And for me, where I think John Cena was like stole the show, and LeBron James in Trainwreck. Sisters, I think it's Bobby Moynihan from SNL. The guy who like snorts the drugs and is like the guy nobody thinks is funny and just goes on a fucking tear the whole movie. I think that guy's hilarious. He's my favorite cast member at SNL. I thought he stole the show in Sisters.
He didn't steal the show for me because
He's
like
trying to do the
entire
Scarface.
time, God, the entire
Like an
time,
hour.
the entire time I was like, I know those guys. I was that guy for a little while.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm going even like as an audience member of the movie, I was like, I'm going to avoid him as much as possible and just like enjoy the show.
Yeah.
For me, like I've never really cared for Tina Fey.
Interesting.
Like I love Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler's, like I said a million times, the perfect
but
woman.
like Tina Fey, like she's very like just on the other side of like what I find is funny a lot. Like I didn't really care for 30
Has she ever
Rock.
like poked her on the other side and been like, "Hey Chris, it's funny."
Hello from the
Yeah,
other
this-
side.
Real quick, I tried to buy Adele tickets for my sister for Christmas. I can say this now because I failed. And you
like
know,
everything you
dude,
do.
I woke up like 30 minutes beforehand. I got on Ticketmaster with my fucking, the Jake.
Is this how she's finding out that was the
profile?
the
No,
plan?
I told her.
Okay. Because wouldn't that be terrible? She's like listening to the show.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
what?
No, the plan was to buy it, to get the tickets, put them in the Adele CD, close the thing, and then just lie to her that I couldn't get the tickets, and be like, "Sorry, I couldn't get the tickets." So she opens it up and gets the tickets.
What a terrible.
Half of that's true, and I'm hoping there wasn't a part of it that was like, "I bet he's lying the whole time," because I kept
I know
like,
Jake.
my mom was like, "Guess." My mom was the first one. She was like, "Guess what? Jake couldn't do? Buy your Adele tickets." But so no, I was like online. I was all ready to go. I made like the profile, like Jake, whatever, and I was
Jake Buns too.
I was watching Veep, which actually that's another show I was watching that I thought was really funny. The first season streaming for free on Amazon Prime, and the first
season.
Yeah, it actually is.
It's
It's annoying. It was counting down, right? And I was like, oh shit, and it popped up, and it's like, all right, you're in line. Like I was like, digitally, I'm in line, and like they had like Adele puns.
It was like San Diego Comic-Con does the same thing.
It was like Adele puns, and I'm like, that's funny, but I'm like, fuck you. And so I was like nervously, like there was like a Germex thing, Purell next to me, and I kept like nervously like washing my hands, just like waiting for it to
dirty.
Yeah, dirty. And so it was like, and all of a sudden I was like watching Veep on one computer and the other computer, and it popped up, and it was like, you're in, and I was like, oh shit. And so I was like, cheapest available, go, and it was like, beep, looking, fuck you. And I was like, what? And so then I was like, no. So I checked for like most expensive, just to be like, maybe I could just blow all the money I have and just like looking, fuck you. And I was like, it's been 10 minutes. And so I was like, okay, I went to the next day at Verizon. And then it didn't even finish saying looking, and it was just like, fuck you. And I was like, what? Fuck you. And I was like looking, and then
fuck you, Jake.
Just like Comic-Con.
And then I looked down at Georgia because my brother and his wife live in Georgia.
To go to San Diego Comic-Con.
And I was like, maybe we can make a thing of it, like drive down to Georgia and hang out with my brother and wife and my sister and go, and we go see Adele.
You can be like
Nothing.
the devil.
Nothing. Fuck you. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So I bought her the Adele CD instead.
Way to go, Jake.
Yeah,
Way to go.
Anyway,
brother.
back to Tina Fey.
But yeah, so I this was like one of the first things that she's done where I was like, she is hilarious the entire way through.
She was,
Yeah.
It's funny because in real life they seem to be very much their opposite characters. Like Tina Fey is the very straight kind of clean cut, for lack of a better word, and Amy Poehler's kind of the more crazy rock and roll one. And it was very funny seeing them their switch sides.
Yeah. It was funny because Amy Poehler's basically playing like the character that she was on Parks and Rec. So I was like, I know it. I love it.
Yeah.
We're in. And Tina Fey is playing this new character that I don't recall ever seeing her play.
No, not really.
Where she's like going nuts. She's the crazy fun sister.
There's supposedly an SNL episode or skit where they're playing twin sisters from way back when. They said the kind of is the genesis for it, because the person who wrote the film is the woman who talks about she kisses her dog in the mouth. That scene, that whole scene is just gross and funny. But she wrote it based on kind of like a what if scenario in her life, kind of thing. But yeah, both those movies are great. And John Cena, and this one's great because he's just a stoic, stoic guy, this rock standing there the whole movie.
He's been off WWE for a while because he's the host of some new reality show that they're filming, and he comes back tomorrow. Or, a couple days ago in terms of, when this episode drops.
Sure.
But, he comes back this week on Raw. And, like, all of my friends that I talk to about wrestling, they're like, wouldn't it just be great if he came back and was, like, a heel? And I'm like, wouldn't it be great if he came back just as that character?
Oh, with the tattoos?
Yeah,
like
with the tattoos and the beanie. And
when he's rattling off all of his drugs, that was a really funny scene.
I love it. She, like, slides up to him and she's like, so, just trying to make small talk.
Yeah.
So, you got any kids? And he's like, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That was a great
And then
line.
like she like melts.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, he's good. But two funny films.
Yeah.
2 funny films. Sam, what about you? What else do you have to say about life?
Yes, Sam.
What was your disappointment in film?
TV, music. I know you have an album you want to talk about.
You dropped an album?
Yeah, I put out an album. My favorite album of the year is the Alabama Shakes. But and apparently the Grammys agree because they're nominated. But
along with True Detective.
Yeah, True Detective is honestly the single. Here's the thing: I was disappointed by True Detective, but I enjoyed.
Oh, it was
being disappointed by it.
Sam,
it's like when you watch a child fail at everything, and you're not so silently laughing at their failure.
It was we live
I'm an
tweeted
asshole.
we live tweeted like every episode, and it was just. And like by that, it was like once or twice, whatever. And we also watched Ballers, which was actually fun.
Oh yeah, Ballers.
Ballers.
Da, da, da.
Speaking of wrestling,
What is it? I don't remember how it goes. The theme
That's
song
like
of
if you're
Ballers.
looking for like the best HBO show this year, it's season 5 of Game of Thrones. But the
Yeah.
next one is season 1
of Ballers.
Of Ballers.
The spoilers we talked about it before. Happiest fucking finale.
Right?
Everything falls. Like remember
Everything just works
We
out.
talked about this before, but we're so fucking like bred to like to believe.
twist endings or shitty endings.
Yes,
or
that like you're from
real
Game of
world
Thrones,
endings.
from The Walking Dead, from all like something bad's gonna happen, and we were waiting. I remember
even The Flash ends on a cliffhanger.
The Flash. Yeah, we were thinking of like all these like The
I
Rock's gonna
fucking
get.
love The Flash. That's my favorite new show.
Oh yeah. The Flash is where it's at.
About fucking time.
But
Still only watch season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
dun dun dun. Yeah, you
They're
go.
ballers, yo.
I've only
I
watched
hope
season
you
1
like
of
getting
Ballers.
bald.
Yeah. Speaking of The Rock, one of my just fun fucking things.
San Andreas.
San Andreas.
Oh yeah,
That's a fun,
excellent movie.
fucking movie
with irresistible women.
The best IMDb review we ever saw. We saw that right before the lights were dimming.
Yeah, you were like, dude,
Yeah, I'm like, dude, read this, and it was this guy was like
excellent movie with
irresistible
women.
women. He's not lying.
I could not resist them.
Simply irresistible.
But that was a fun fucking movie, dude.
yeah, that was a fun one. That was more fun than Jurassic World
Yes.
and Terminator Genesis.
Yes,
Mm.
100%.
Sam,
100%.
how was Black Mass?
Oh.
Let's talk about 2 disappointments. Yeah, I know you got
3.
it. You got it.
I have 3.
Okay, go for it.
Number 1.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Shock.
True.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that because I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Good.
do the other
Keep it
do the
that
other
way.
2, and then I'll have a question for you.
Okay. Fantastic Four, easily the worst superhero film I've seen probably since.
The other Fantastic Four?
They're certainly contenders. I was gonna
Spider-Man
Ghost Rider:
3.
Spirit of Vengeance,
Ooh.
probably Ghost Rider: Spirit of
Yeah.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
and I'd still say Ghost Rider's worse. but
Way to go, Daredevil.
Yeah. Daredevil. Now, if we're talking a show that premiered in 2015,
Mm.
Daredevil's probably my
And Jessica
favorite.
Jones,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Jessica
Yeah.
Jones is great too.
Yeah.
Daredevil's pretty
I
damn.
forgot that was this year.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
And it's got a March release, I think,
For season 2.
for season 2,
Sweet.
something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
they're already doing season 2? for
They're
that?
done. They're done filming.
Okay, I thought
they're fucking done, Chris.
I thought their plan was to do season 1, and then do season 2s.
Nope.
No?
the times
They've just hired the showrunner for
changing.
Iron Fist.
Yep.
Well, no one cares about Iron Fist.
That's not true.
That's definitely not true, Chris.
I love Iron Fist.
I love it. I know what you were doing.
Also, the only exposure to Iron Fist I have is the Spider-Man animated show with the web
Web
whatever.
Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where he's got long hair and it's weird, and he's always like, I'm
and he's like a
naked."
16-year-old.
Yeah. You know who is one of the head writers on Ultimate Spider-Man?
I do not.
Joe Kelly.
Oh,
Oh shit.
That might show up. Might not.
No. Just remember that name.
Just, yeah.
Read Deadpool.
Put that one in the brain basket or whatever receptacle your cerebellum's in.
Mind Palace.
Anus.
The mind anus.
Just yell it into my butt cheeks, and I will hear it.
Right down Main Street. Yeah, so Fantastic Four is easily the worst movie I've seen this year.
Okay.
Because it starts out and it's like, okay, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the movie, it just like literally and figuratively shits itself.
Yeah.
But what a great comeback for Michael B. Jordan to be in that
Oh,
and
yeah,
then be in
Creed.
Creed.
Oh, I'm so happy for him because I was like, this is like the kiss of death.
I'm
is
so
this,
happy
is this
for
his
him.
legacy?
I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy.
Because what's his name? Reed Richards. He did the opposite.
Miles
direction.
Teller, yeah.
Yeah, Miles Teller. He did the opposite with doing Whiplash first.
Yeah. And now he's just, I guess, in Divergent movies.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody gives a toss about Divergent movies.
Yeah.
Our friend Cassie does.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh well,
fair.
it's fine. She doesn't listen to this podcast, so
Chalk
Time
that-
to make new friends.
Chalk that one up as a loss. But
Yeah.
you know, I would rather watch Bridge of Spies than Black Mass.
Okay.
Black
And
Mass.
if you remember, Bridge of Spies was a big upset.
Would you rather, out of the of those 3, which would you, if you had to watch one again, would it be Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four is just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, if I was going to listen to it in the background, it would be Fantastic Four. If I was going to sit down with both eyes open, it would probably be Bridge of Spies.
Again.
Because then it's like, oh, it's just like watching. I'm basically watching just a boring Like they fucking posit in both the marketing and the film itself that the entire fate of the free world, like this is what prevents World War III from breaking out.
And if we remember, it was Rocky fighting Drago.
Yes, but
That's also what solves Cold War.
there is one good moment for me in Bridge of Spies, and it's at the very end of the film.
Oh yeah.
I was about to jokingly say the end.
Yeah, well,
When the credits start rolling?
yeah, which was where he was
With the
going.
children?
But yeah, because normally, like, you expect, like, happy-go-lucky, like, Spielberg, like, hey, look, he saved the day, and everybody that hated him and judged him on the train is now like, hey, you're good, Tom Hanks. And he's like, I know I'm fucking good. I was in Philadelphia. I got the Academy Award. It's on my fucking mantelpiece.
Yeah.
But then he
back
looks
to
out.
back with Forrest Gump.
But then he looks out the train window, and yeah, he sees the kids jumping over the fence, and then flashes back, not
In
we
the
don't-
film, but yeah,
in the film,
presumably.
to seeing people trying to scale the Berlin Wall and get machine gunned,
Mhm.
and he's just like, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how the film ends. It ends on that kind of.
And it tells you a story that's like way more interesting.
He's like, yeah, I secured the release of thousands of people that were captured during the Bay of Pigs. It's like, oh, that wasn't more interesting than this.
Yeah.
Bridge of Spies, fucking Bridge of Spies.
They just left it open for the sequel.
fucking Bridge of Spies.
I'd say out of those three though, like
Your
Fantastic
favorite's
Four.
Black Mass.
Well, no, God no. Fantastic Four, like we kind of knew that was gonna suck.
It's the only movie I went into this year.
Yeah.
Maybe you could argue San Andreas.
San Andreas
Then
was
San
like
Andreas,
a happy.
Yeah.
It was like yeah, we were like what?
That was a happy upset.
It's like it was one of those things where like, walking back to the car and we're both like nodding our heads, not saying anything. We're like yeah, yeah, okay. Black Mass is out of those three because I agree with you. Was the biggest disappointment for me. Bridge of Spies. There was that moment where we were like we were talking about it with like the trailers and stuff. We're like, is this even? You know?
Oh yeah, we knew. I guess we kind of knew going into Bridge of Spies.
Yeah,
as
Bridge
well.
of Spies, but Black Mass was like we were. I mean, we kind of tried to temper our expectations, but the trailers were pretty solid. You know, I didn't watch many of the trailers because I was like, oh, this is Johnny Depp's thing, you know, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And he's fine in it. But yeah, it was just a miss,
It's
a big miss.
Just a fucking goat screw.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a
I've already
real.
forgotten what Black Mass was.
The Departed, but not as good.
Yeah,
The
Okay.
Whitey.
Oh,
Whitey
right,
Bulger.
gotcha. Whitey Bulger. Okay.
Yeah. If again, I said this when we talked about it on the show. If you want to see a good Whitey Bulger movie, watch The Departed. Just watch it twice, and you'll be fine.
have your guys? And sorry, Josh, we could touch on this again after you see it. But have your guys just real quick about Star Wars? Has anything changed? Giving it like a week's time.
Actually, so I went and saw it. We were originally going to record one night randomly in the middle of the week, and I ended up having to stay late at work at my theater, and to the point where we were like, you know what, let's just do it another time.
Yeah.
And by the time I got out, there was a Star Wars screening starting like in 5 minutes.
It's a
So I was
person
like, you know
working
what?
at a theater, I guess.
Yeah, and I just hopped in there. I got to see it in 3D.
Yeah.
And I gotta say,
I liked it in 3D.
second viewing was better.
Yeah.
You know, like I like my big gripes about it, about like Kylo Ren being whiny and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It didn't seem as bad the second time around.
I agree on that.
Basically, by the second time around, I was like, this is what Anakin Skywalker should have been.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's less whiny than Hayden Christensen.
Sure.
You know, he's like Hayden Christensen in Shattered Glass.
Yeah. Have you seen this? He just everyone stares at Sam. Have you seen the Have you seen the concept art for what they were going to do with Anakin Skywalker in Episode 7?
No.
Now I could be
I've heard.
I could be wrong on this. Now I
Is
must
it
say
in my book here?
no, it's not. Unfortunately,
No.
Personally, I think this is kind of cool. And George Lucas did state later on that the reason again that we see Hayden Christensen as young Hayden Christensen, or just only Hayden Christensen in Return of the Jedi, is that when you die, it goes back to when he was a full man, not a machine. So that's why, like, you know. Anyway, their idea was Anakin shows up, right, and Anakin is pulling Kylo Ren, right, the forces of him. So when it's light, when it's the light side pulling towards him, it's Hayden Christensen as Anakin. When it's the dark side pulling toward him, it's the same robe, but there's a shadow of Vader's helmet inside of it, and he's pulling him towards the dark side. And I was like, that's fucking cool. Like, again, concept over how it might have been done.
Right? Yeah,
I think it would. People would be like, "You can't have metal in the fucking Force Ghost. You can have anything in the Force Ghost because it's not real." But I think it could have been an interesting take. Like
you
don't
have a robe.
Yeah.
Why can't you have metal?
You don't have to have the Vader helmet, but I think the idea of that, like the sinister
Have
pull,
it be like Vader. The Vader helmet is his face.
yeah, well, that's what they're saying. Like, it wouldn't be Darth Vader standing there, but it'd be the same hood, but it maybe be darker and it'd be more ominous. You have the Emperor, the Imperial March, but like the idea that what other character has lived both sides like that in that we've seen to be that pull, and so that the payoff could be more like when he's there, and he's not like standing there the whole movie, like spoilers, kill Han Solo, that kind of thing.
But like fucking like Peter Parker Ghost, to Doc Ock Spider-Man.
Yeah. But I think that the concept art at least was really cool looking.
One of the things I liked about watching it a second time or even a third time, because I've seen it 3 times now. When during the bridge confrontation, spoilers for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, when Han Solo bites it. You've got the blue light from the fading star, of course blue is always light side.
Yeah.
And then on the, of course it's very much red, and it really isn't until the star extinguishes the entire room is red.
When you see the shadow go down on the shadow emerge on his face.
Yeah.
And to Adam Driver's credit, he really, I don't know, like I feel like I've seen like some weird stuff about him, but I think he did a really good job, you know what I mean? And the second viewing I think helped a lot, but the idea of the shadow coming over his face, and that his face just drops because it's that moment where he knows he's got to do that. He's got to make that choice.
Yeah. I will say I'm kind of glad that, like, I enjoy Star Wars. I enjoy The Force Awakens as a whole. But at the same time, I'm fine with J.J. Abrams not coming back for Episode 8.
Yeah,
yeah.
Too.
Don't tell him that.
He apparently he read the script for 8, and he was like, "I am so jealous that I don't get to."
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to remake a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I've heard all everyone that's has any familiarity with fucking episode with The Force Awakens and Star Wars is like, oh, it's just a remake of Star Wars. It's like, yes, I get it. It's still fun. But yeah, like
it's the same people that complain that the prequels weren't enough like the original movies.
Yeah, it's like,
and now they're complaining that this movie's too much like the original.
Yeah,
movies.
it's like we know.
Sorry that we can't capture the magic that you felt for those original movies in a bottle and repurpose them.
I do think Episode 8.
I don't think you could for me.
You haven't even seen the motherfucker. Episode
but
8.
You've also accepted that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Episode 8 is gonna be the true test.
Yeah, 100%. Because like we said, they don't have nostalgia to ride on that.
Yeah.
They can't introduce the characters again and be like, remember? Like, we saw them 2 years ago.
That's where they fucked up with Episode 1 and 2. Like they killed off any interesting characters in Episode 1, and then tried to reintroduce new characters and reintroduce the same characters that you met. And
Well,
it was just,
I guess my feeling would be if Episode 8 is like the First Order is just kicking ass nonstop. Like, it's just 30 minutes of them sweeping through the galaxy and shots of them just overtaking planet after planet.
that'd be great.
And just things like that. It'll be like, congratulations, you're following the formula of what came before.
Well, there's a reason why it worked.
At the same time, I want Episode 8 to be very much its own animal, and I think it
Yeah.
will be.
I want it to be as diverse as possible.
I don't think they have any intention to do an Empire Strikes Back.
Part like 2.0 or whatever. I think.
I hope you're wrong. I sincerely hope you're wrong.
You want to see an Empire
You know
2.0?
what-
No,
You know what you could do? You
sorry.
could just-
I
you could
sincerely
watch-
hope you're right.
Oh, yeah.
No, okay, I was about to say you could just borrow my copy of
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back
Yeah.
if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
The reason Empire Strikes Back works is because nobody knew Empire Strikes Back was coming. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
though, again, in my opinion, the only complete Star Wars movie we've ever seen is Episode 4. You
Yeah.
know, and the reason
It's the only one that stands separate and proud on its own.
and I gotta believe that back then when Empire came out, people were like, "What the fuck was that?" Because they didn't have it. Because
It didn't
again,
do well critically initially.
the thing that happened is like this is the first movie that most of our generation has with what they want to see with Star Wars. It's just true sequel, so to speak, where they
Yeah.
don't have instant gratification. Like they can't immediately watch 5 and 6. You know, when we grew up watching Star Wars, we had 4, 5, and 6 to watch immediately. we didn't have to wait years. Now people got to wait. So there's questions asked, questions not answered, and they got to like sit in their own shit and just wait. You know what I mean?
Wait for like the numbered ones, yes, but they're getting a Star Wars film next year as well.
But I mean, those have nothing to do with.
But what he's saying is the continuation of that particular story,
and I think that's fascinating.
not just a Star Wars movie in general.
And it's interesting you say that because at this point, I honestly don't know if that's true. I don't know if they really are anxious. If there's more excitement to see where the story goes, or more excitement just to get another Star Wars film.
And that's my problem with what Disney is doing. Like, I love the fact that Disney picked up Star Wars because that means they have Disney money and they can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want. They're not limited by anything.
Just build a real fucking Death Star already, guys.
But my
You've got the funds.
My big problem with the way that Disney's handling it right now is that they're making it their next Avengers franchise, and they're just Star Wars movie, Star Wars movie, Star Wars movie. I'm fine personally. I'm fine waiting another 3 years for episode 8 to come out. Just like the original trilogy did. They did one movie every 3 years. I don't need and I'm excited for Rogue One. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for Rogue One, but I don't need it to come out next year.
And I really hate to say this, Chris, but I think you're in the minority there for feeling that way. I think now that everyone's...
because all these nerds, they're all on the internet and they're all like obsessed with instant gratification. They can't handle waiting more than 6 months for something.
I mean, everyone that's got the bug now, it's like... Star Wars is one of the greatest forms of, we'll say, heroin.
Black
heroin?
For people,
heroin,
they just,
like Rey is a heroine.
In the
it's
there was a moment I was like, what?
It's just a really, really easy to get.
People are addicted to it.
Drug that they just need that next fix for now.
Is heroin that easy to get?
I gotta
is that your experience, Josh? You get heroin easily out in Leesburg?
Yes, the rich part of town.
Sam looks like he has some insight.
You're a hypocrite.
Oh.
Maybe.
Every Marvel fucking movie, every DC CW TV show, you're like right there.
To be fair, he's not saying. All he's saying is that he's commenting that that's why there's so many Star Wars things coming out. He's not saying he's not talking about it as a negative. He's not talking about it. He's not talking about how he's above it.
Yeah.
He's not talking about how other companies don't do it. He's just pointing out that Star Wars is swept up in the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't make him a hypocrite.
But it does.
No, it doesn't.
No. Let's not go down this rabbit hole, because I know this one's going to get fucking ugly. I know how these conversations go. So let's not go down this one.
Fair.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. But, no, I think the, dodged a bullet on that one. But I think the more I watch The Force Awakens, the more I'm kind of, and to kind of speak to the point of like a movie coming out like every year. I'm honestly with Chris on the fact that I'm excited for them, but I don't need them, if that makes any sense.
It's a nice buffer on the way to 8. Like, it's a nice little roadside stop, a pit stop as you're on the way to 8. You're like, driving's gonna take 3 years to get to episode 8. Oh, cool! So exit 51 is gonna be a little Rogue One action. Okay, that was fun. I'm getting back on the Rogue One episode 8.
Well, it's just that. It's something to tide you over. It's whereas something like the Avengers ostensibly builds to the next to the end of the phase. I guess Ant-Man is kind of like
it's there.
It's there. I mean, it builds to Civil War. More to Civil War than I would say. It's almost
which is what everyone that's come before him.
That's kind of why I loved.
That's
kind of why I loved Ant-Man, because it wasn't really the next peg.
Yeah, kind of like what Guardians did too. Like,
sure, yeah, it's not. It by being a movie that was made, it is moving towards whatever it's trying to get to. But its sole purpose, unlike some other of the Marvel movies, were not to be like, look at this preview for what's going to happen in Civil War.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
And I think like with a lot of these films, I just feel like if they're given more time, and I'm not saying that they can't do it within the time limits that they have, but much like with a video game, The video game takes anywhere from a year to about a year and a half at most. It's about all right. If it takes about 3 years, either it's going to be really shit, or it usually turns out to be fucking amazing.
Like Duke Nukem.
Oh man, I played that.
Words can't quantify that one, Chris. Trust me.
Can they qualify it though?
Money can qualify for a purchase of it.
Yeah. I mean, fucking video games. Video games are kind of in this weird spot where from what I've seen this year, all the major label video games, like all the big ticket video games, like your Fallout 4s or your Star Wars Battlefronts or your what's the other your Arkham Knights, your Halo 5s. They'll do okay on the front end, but for some reason the major label games, I don't know if this is like Destiny syndrome where like there's just some sort of disconnect. And Josh being more of the, someone who's actually played all of those games minus Battlefront, unless you've like toyed around with the beta.
I did.
Right. There's something almost like soulless about that. And what I like about Star Wars versus the video game industry these days is that the soul is still there because it's being made by people that genuinely love it. Like Lawrence Kasdan was a fanboy that was brought in to co-write Empire and Return of the Jedi. J.J. Abrams, I mean, fucking Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness is a reskin of Star Wars.
Yeah, for God's sakes, they threw R2-D2 into
both. Yeah, into both. We'll get to those. I swear, we'll get to those. There's some of the...
I might have to bribe them. Talking about you guys.
To let you not do those commentaries?
No, to finally get to those ones.
Oh, I mean, we're doing it in preparation for Beyond.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just 2 movies. I think we can handle because we're not going to do all the Star Trek movies, right?
No, we're doing all that.
Are we doing all the Star Trek movies?
I built them into the schedule.
That's fine. You know what? I actually appreciate a lot of the Star Trek movies more than those 2.
We can talk about that.
I'm gonna pull a George Lopez. Just implode into myself.
Yeah.
I'll be back later.
That means I get to watch Star Trek 5.
Yeah. I gotta see. I guess all of them. I mean, there's something to be said about all the Star Trek movies, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Even as much as I shit on the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies on this show, guys, there's still moments where I'm like, that's good, or like, hey, I honestly
better
I think,
than Insurrection.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think the acting's honestly, for the most part, with some exceptions, is generally top notch.
Thor throwing himself through a windshield, God, try saying that one fast, is probably one of the greatest scenes ever.
I choke up during that scene every time. And what I find interesting, to tie it back to Star Wars, I don't know how I got on all these tangents. I just remember earlier I called Josh a hypocrite. But and then I was like, let's forward.
Hey, we got to read out the year in some traditional fashion, Sam.
Let's just all yell at Josh.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah. You got to say something like controversial. I was going to say dumb, but I'll give you some credit. Controversial.
Something that we all disagree with.
Yeah. What's the thing about the thing that surprised me about Star Wars: The Force Awakens is it's kind of at moments where it shouldn't be emotionally stunted, it is. And you watch the opening of Star Trek 2009, and it's like, again, I'm like choking up because like I'm watching George Kirk sacrifice himself for his wife and kid, and it's like, where's that J.J. Abrams?
Yeah.
Where's So
you get that with the lens flares.
Yeah, and there was a lot. There are lens flares in the original Star Wars. Fine, fuck it.
Yeah,
I get it. I've seen the movies, guys. But there are. I mean, it's not like Star Trek Into Darkness levels where it's like laughable, like how many, or even Star Trek 2009 where it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, guys, we're going into darkness. Tone down these fucking lens flares.
He did a good job. To be honest, like thinking back on it, like I've seen it twice, and I can't actually think of a specific, like lens flare that happens in it, which is great because J.J. Abrams learned his lesson. And to be totally honest, the only reason why I know there are lens flares in the original Star Wars is because when he got selected to be, the director for Episode 7, everyone was like, "Oh no, it's gonna be full of lens flares." And I went back and I watched the originals, and I was like, "Well, there's a lens flare There's a lens flare. Because sometimes it fucking can't be helped.
Yeah. Sometimes light gets in the frame, guys.
Yeah, it's not always intentional.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
Don't tell Bale that.
which
Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah, with the DP.
Terminator.
Yeah.
McG and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just go back
you
to
gonna do something about this?
Go back to Supernatural McG
Yeah. Go back to like producing
do.
the OC.
and Charlie's Angels. Right? He
Yeah,
did those
He
movies?
did them. He did them. Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. I think, and of course, the fact that they withheld that tape until the movie was right about to come out, I was like, come the fuck on, guys. Like, I know you could have released that, like, fucking as soon as it happened. But no, you had to wait until the movie came out because you thought it needed additional press. Because honestly, Terminator Salvation's kind of fucking garbage.
I contend that it would have been a fine movie if I hadn't gone into it knowing that Sam Williamson, right? Worthington. Close. Sam W. Was a Terminator the whole time. Or not the whole time, but, was
Thanks,
a
marketing.
Terminator.
Yeah, just like Terminator Genesis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, had I not known John Connor, right? Not Carter? Yeah, Connor.
Connor, yeah.
I'm on meds that make me very drowsy. Sorry.
So Connor.
Yeah. Had I not gone in knowing that he was some weirdo like nanobot Terminator, would have been probably would have still been bad, but more enjoyable.
Yeah, at least preserve some element of surprise. Come on.
Well, I mean, you got the new fancy T-1000 Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end.
That we'll probably never see again.
Yeah.
And that's
Upgraded.
fine.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a wild year. I think in terms of stuff I'm looking forward to in 2016, Star Wars is certainly something that's on the list, but I think Civil War is where everyone's kind of going. Yes, I'm gonna see fucking Star Trek Beyond. Yes, I'm gonna fucking see Batman vs Superman on opening day for both those movies, presumably. Suicide Squad.
My big thing is Deadpool. I think that's actually the thing that I'm most excited about for next year.
Yeah, over Apocalypse, over any of that.
Yeah, definitely over Apocalypse.
Yeah, there's like 3 bad FX shots in a row in the Apocalypse trailer where I'm like, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. Oh.
And there's your sizzle reel, Sam. The rest are gold.
Yeah. God, this is...
Yeah, I don't know. I think that trailer's still 6. But,
well, those are all really, really fine choices.
I mean, yeah. I think all those trailers we said about last week mostly suck. But, yeah, Batman v Superman.
Tarzan.
Batman, yeah, right. That's the only one that matters.
Team Tarzan, right?
Well, there's still one trailer I'm desperately waiting for.
What's that?
What's that?
The Ghostbusters one.
Oh, new Ghostbusters next year.
Yes, my childhood absolute. If they ruin this, my entire childhood has been ruined forever.
Well, like
Moment.
we said last week was Star Wars?
Yeah.
If a movie can ruin your childhood,
Yeah.
it's a weak childhood to begin with.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, might be.
Yeah, I don't know your
Yeah,
childhood.
you
It
guys
might
don't know me.
Yeah.
You might have only had Ghostbusters.
Well, what I like about what you said, like, last week, Josh, and this is honestly one of the most insightful things you've said on the show, is... Do you not want me to compliment you?
No.
Because I can just stop.
I was
Look at the
insightful?
time. If the Ghostbusters movie next year sucks, you can go home and pop in 1984 Ghostbusters just fine.
Oh, I can pop in Ghostbusters 2 and think, oh, thank God, bullet dodged.
Yeah, which is verbatim what you said last week. And that's the thing. Like, if Creed sucked, I can still watch, Rocky 3.
If
I
episode 7 sucked, I could still pop in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, out of like all major 80s franchise phenomenons, what have you, name makers in the film industry, outside of Ghostbusters now, what else is there left that they could...
Weird Science.
Phantom of the Paradise.
Okay, Weird Science.
He-Man, which they are doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But like they haven't...
Back to the Future.
We gotta wait for the creator to die first.
Yeah.
But outside of like Weird Science, there's nothing left, I guess, to touch.
I mean, Weird Science had a TV show.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff in the 90s. Like, obviously, there's been a Power Rangers reboot in the works for a while, but that got pushed back.
Yeah. But just I'm thinking like further back to like when the craze has started of like franchises like that, and
I
like
mean, like
major
with the,
names like that.
Universal Monsters, or the Columbia Pictures, or whatever the fuck it was.
No, it's it's Universal.
God,
Yeah,
I should just trust my gut.
yeah. Always go with the gut. But the yeah. I mean, there's still talk about them rebooting the Mummy with Tom Cruise in the lead.
Yeah, and that's supposed to still tie into the
Brendan Fraser one.
They want to make
No.
a shared universe out of it.
a shared universe of all the monsters.
Oh,
Yeah.
like Van Helsing.
Yeah. Or honestly,
Yeah.
the Universal movies in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah,
Because
because that's what
I
was
mean, yeah,
kinda
it's a
getting
mix
at.
of both.
yeah, because you had Frankenstein. Like that's one of those things where they were like shared universe, where I wasn't like, oh fuck you. Like that was one of those things where I was like, yeah, it was always kind of like that.
It's like if they could all team up and then fight the League of
Santo E Blue Demon.
Well,
I was going to say the
Yeah.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
well, there was a moment they were like, we're trying to make it more action based than horror based, and I was like, that's where you're starting to lose me. That's where shit's starting to, because horror movies are supposed to be horror movies. They're horror icons for a fucking reason. One of the big problems with like the Wolf, there's a lot of problems with the Benicio del Toro Wolfman, but one of them is like he's like going around London, like the rooftops of London, like some fucking like Victorian Batman, and I'm like, there was a Victorian Batman. It was called Gotham by Gaslight, and it was fucking awesome. I don't need the Wolfman to be a hero. I don't need him to be a Hulk analog. If I want to see a Hulk analog, I'll watch the goddamn Hulk. I don't need Dracula to be a misunderstood, like, tragic figure. I want him to be fucking Dracula. Bela Lugosi wasn't sympathetic. You could argue Gary Oldman was sympathetic, but that he could turn on a fucking dime. I don't... If there's any sympathetic universal monster that should exist, it should probably... Well, you could argue... it's Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein's monster, because the true monster is Dr. Frankenstein.
yeah.
But yeah. How do we get on this?
I don't know. I saw It Follows real quick.
Ah,
It was actually really fucking good.
yeah,
Like I love horror movies that push the envelope and that like change the game. They don't have to be like gangbust blockbusters that are going to spawn a million sequels. But It Follows is just a like slow burn, like 1970s grindhouse type horror movie. Really fucking awesome movie. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's the STD movie. And I read a funny thing where like basically, one of the characters in the beginning, you see them get killed and it's fucking gruesome. The reveal. And then another girl has got a boyfriend. They, do the thing and he's like, hey, I passed something on to you. Fucking like knocks her out, wakes her up and is like, this thing's coming for you. It'll take shape of anyone, anytime, anywhere. If it touches you, you die. And it'll never stop until you pass on to the next person. And if that person dies, it'll come to you and then come to me, blah, blah, blah. And the whole thing was like, oh, it's this STD thing. And that's definitely there. But I read this really interesting thing where the director talked about that's just life in general, which is way scarier because you don't have to identify with an STD. You can identify with the fact that somewhere we'll never see it, but death is walking towards us and will eventually touch us. There's nothing you can do about it. That was what the director is really going for. That like it's death stalking you. Like, that's just a means to an end. Like somewhere you're never going to be able to escape this. Like this is always coming for you. It just happens to be this slice is this little version that we're watching is how it's dealing with these people. And it makes that movie so like unbelievably scary. And it's good, there's like really no names in it, just like great horror movies. Like I love the horror movies with really no names. I still want to I want to see, it's on Vudu, Goodnight Mommy. That movie I was talking about that I couldn't remember the title for, a foreign film where these two boys are dealing with their mother wrapped in bandages. Like she's had some kind of surgery. And my sister actually showed me the trailer and it looks they said it's more a psychological thriller. Like, is this the mom kind of thing? But it looks really creepy and cool. And I love those type of horror movies that push the envelope that aren't like, what was that one movie like that one trailer we saw? Like, was it like Witches or whatever? Like that was like kind of like
like a period piece.
Creepy, yeah. I like horror movies again. Like I was kind of like an example of like what I was looking forward to and it kind of bummed me out was like You're Next. I was kind of bummed out by that one because everyone's like, oh, it's like
another Australian horror film.
Like it's changing the game for like
home invasion
films, and it kind of becomes like the big twist is kind of weird, but it still was okay. But yeah, It Follows is one that some people were like, oh, you should definitely check it out. Other people were like, it falls flat. But for me, it definitely worked. And the score is like this electronic, pulsating, never stops just like just like the character death itself, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better word. And it's not always somebody like that that's following the person. Like sometimes the movie has no problems being like, oh, this is definitely death following you. It'll be like a naked a naked woman following you, and it just looks messed up, or like a sick old man in a hospital just walking. Sometimes it's the best friend. You know what I mean? And like the reveals are really great, and the camera tricks. There's a couple like not really long tracking shots, but the beginning is a good example where the camera is just not spinning fast, but it's following this girl in the house, out of the house, and you just in the street watching everything else go on, and then you follow her drive off. And I think it's really worth checking out if you're a horror fan, especially like the 70s kind of horror stuff. I also watched way back, they did this cool like sequel remake homage to The Town That Dreaded Sundown. That was really cool. That's streaming. The film is cool because there was a movie that came out in like the 70s based on a real event that happened to this town. Is it Arkansas? Thank you. That this these series of murders and incidents happened, violent incidents, and they never found the person, so they made a movie about it.
And it's the original case is the inspiration for the urban legend about the like hook hand murderer.
Yeah, and the sack head is what inspired Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2. And so anyway, the cool thing about this movie that came out in like 2013, 2014 is that the movie is a sequel in a sense that it follows the events of the movie, but in the movie that you're watching, the modern day movie, the events that happened in the 30s actually happened, and the movie happened. So the town always watches the movie, but then someone becomes like kind of like a copycat. And it's really clever. Like they'll show little quick scenes from the movie, and then like the actual scene happens. It's really well done.
It's like Scream 2 if Stab had actually been a movie.
Yeah, and it's basically, but it's it's very low budget, but it's interesting, it's a cool little movie. So yeah, I'm always on the lookout for like those kind of new fresh take horror movies, not the same old thing over and over again. So It Follows is definitely gets a seal of approval.
Did you see Mama?
No, with Jessica Chastain.
It's a pretty good movie. For whatever reason, it kept popping into my head while you were talking. It's not like a revolutionary movie, but it's a pretty solid horror movie. And then like I kind of liked it because it like very loosely follows the urban legend of the Bunny Man, which is a local urban legend around here, which is fun. Like basically takes the idea of like insane asylum, like someone breaks out and then like shit happens in the woods, but like from there it like goes off. It even calls the town Clifton, which is
cool,
or Clifton Heights or something like that. Which Clifton is where the Bunny Man Bridge is.
Yeah, absolutely. Classic.
Yeah,
Jessica Chastain
and Jamie Lannister playing himself and his twin brother.
Oh.
Or not himself, but
it's me.
But the guy that plays Jamie Lannister is the main character,
dual role,
and he also plays the main character's twin brother who dies in like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right on.
Well, do we have any other recollections of 2015, predictions for 2016?
The weather's been absolute fucking shit.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a factual statement.
Yeah. It usually does rain for Christmas around here, though.
Yeah. It usually isn't
quite often
warm.
But yeah, it was definitely like shorts and shirts.
Yeah.
This Christmas.
I'm ready for snow, but it usually doesn't snow until like January anyway, and then it's just fucking unloads. Yeah, just all over my. Anyway, the yeah. So any of you gentlemen have anything to add other than the weather being absolute shite?
I'm looking forward to keeping this thing going, man, and talking about some hopefully some really cool movies coming out next year. And
check out Ash vs. Evil Dead. I didn't mention that while we were talking about TV shows, but that's a good TV show that I've been watching this year.
Yeah.
And Haven's fun.
Yeah. Heroes came back this year.
Oh, yeah.
X-Files comes back next month.
Yeah.
It's like tailor-made for Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets Legends of Tomorrow, too, the lucky bastard.
Wayward Pines.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start to see, we're going to do a new commentary series, obviously, coming out soon, because we've done all the Star Wars movies that currently, are available for home video.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a lot of major franchise commentaries. We kind of alluded to one earlier this episode. You're probably going to see a shitload of Star Wars. You already see a shitload of Star Wars. You'll see more shitloads of Star Wars. You'll see a shitload of Star Trek.
Lots of stars.
Lots of stars. When
Some Trek,
Star-studded.
some Wars.
When William Shatner was on Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Space Ghost asked him, he was like, William Shatner was like, you know what, Star Wars and Star Trek have a lot in common. And Space Ghost was like, what? And he's like, well, space. And so you'll be seeing some more commentaries. Hopefully, we'll have some more interviews for you guys coming up. We've actually got quite a few of those that I've been trying to work on getting together, so that those will be nice if that actually pays off. So yeah, big things to look forward to in 2016. As long as my basement doesn't flood again, I think 2016 will be even better than 2015.
And as long as my basement doesn't flood
at all,
we'll have a studio.
Yeah, we keep doing this.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I guess so, considering this is the last episode, any New Year's resolutions going into the new year? Since having them for the next episode will be, I guess, kind of redundant.
Become a pro wrestler.
I want to exercise more. I would say eat healthier, but I know that's not going to happen. But I definitely want to exercise more, and yeah, maybe learn another language or two.
That's a good question. Watch all the Gilmore Girls again. That's what I'm
preparation
excited
for the new
in
Gilmore
preparation
Girls.
for the new Gilmore Girls.
Continue employment.
There you go.
That's a smart one.
Well, we'll talk more about that off mic. I'm curious about the latest developments there. Yeah. So this has been another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And we'll see you guys in the new year.
Thank you very much.
And all acquaintance be forgot. Good night, Arpana.
Damn, that beat was dope.